The rain was falling softly over London, turning the streets into glistening mirrors. The city was calm, unaware that inside Buckingham Palace, a message was being typed with trembling hands. King Charles sat alone in his private study, a soft lamp glowing beside him. His doctor's words still echoed in the room, long after the doctor had left. "Your Majesty, your health requires immediate rest. Too much stress could worsen things." Charles nodded as he reread the medical report lying open beside him. Age, responsibility, pressure, it had all come together like an invisible weight pressing on his chest. But the heaviest weight was not the crown. It was his broken relationship with his younger son. He picked up his pen, breathed deeply, and started writing a personal message on royal stationery, something he had never done before. "Harry, want to see you. No cameras, no press." His handwriting shook slightly. He paused, then added, "And bring your family. I want to meet my grandchildren properly, before it is too late." He sealed the letter, pressed the royal waxmark on it, and whispered, "Outside the palace gates." The rain intensified as if London itself sensed something monumental was beginning. Across the world, the sun shone over Montecito. Birds chirped, flowers glowed, and inside their home, Meghan was preparing breakfast while Harry sat outside on the patio, sipping tea and reading a book. He was trying to relax, but peace had been hard to find lately. His legal battles, public scrutiny, and the never-ending tension with his family often kept him awake at night. Suddenly, their security chief approached him with a brown envelope. "Sir, this just arrived. From London, direct royal dispatch." Harry frowned. "Royal dispatch? They still send these?" "Yes, sir. Highly confidential." Harry's heart beat faster. He took the envelope, feeling the familiar texture. Thick paper, red wax seal, golden emblem. His hands froze. "From my father." Meghan stepped outside, noticing the expression on his face. "What is it?" Harry broke the seal. His eyes moved slowly across the handwritten lines. His breath caught. "Meghan," he whispered. "He wants to see us. All of us." Meghan's single quote's eyebrows lifted softly. "All of us, including the children." Harry nodded, swallowing a lump in his throat. "And he says, before it is too late." Meghan touched his arm gently. "Harry, this sounds serious." He read the letter again, as if trying to understand more than the words. "It's not like him to write something this personal," Harry murmured. "Something's wrong." Archie ran into the patio with a toy airplane. "Daddy, look." Harry forced a smile, but Meghan could see the storm behind his eyes. A decision was coming, and it would shape their family's future. That night, after the kids were asleep, Harry and Meghan sat on the sofa in silence. The letter lay on the coffee table like a silent guest. "Are you thinking of going?" Meghan asked gently. Harry stared ahead. "I'm thinking of all the years we lost, all the moments we missed. I never wanted it to be like this." Meghan placed her hand on his. "And what do you feel?" Now Harry closed his eyes briefly. "I feel scared of what?" She whispered, "of returning and finding nothing left to repair. Or worse, returning and seeing my father in a condition I'm not ready for." Meghan nodded. She understood. Family wounds were complicated, deep, and often invisible. "You don't owe the world anything, Harry," she said softly. "But maybe, just maybe, you owe yourself closure." Harry looked at her, the woman who stood by him through storms and headlines and betrayals, the woman who gave him a family. "Would you come with me?" he asked. She didn't hesitate. "Of course. You will not face this alone," Harry exhaled, relief washing over him. "Then we should go," he said, "before it really is too late." Their private jet cut through the night sky as the world below slept. Archie and Lilibet slept peacefully in their seats, unaware that their young lives were about to enter a world of crowns, history, and complicated family bonds. Harry stared out the window, watching the moonlight dance on the airplane wing, every mile closer to England. Made his heart heavier. Memories flooded in Princess Diana, his brother William, the palace corridors, the press, the hurt, the love he lost, and the love he wanted back. Meghan touched his shoulder. "You okay?" He nodded slowly. "I just don't know how he will look at me, or what he will say." Meghan smiled softly. "I think he'll look at you like a father who misses his son." Harry stared into her eyes and found strength there. The plane descended toward Heathrow as dawn broke over England. A new day, a new chapter, a new chance. The car approached Buckingham Palace. Through a private entrance, security surrounded them, discreet yet visible. Inside the palace, King Charles stood near a window, waiting. His breathing was uneasy, but his eyes were sharp, hopeful. A footman entered. "Your Majesty, they have arrived." Charles straightened. "Send them in." The door opened slowly. Harry stepped in first, Meghan behind him, Archie holding Meghan's hand, and little Lilibet holding a pink stuffed bunny. For 5 long seconds, no one spoke. Father and son just stared at one another. Charles' eyes softened. Harry swallowed. Dan, in those 2 words, years of distance trembled. Charles stepped closer, his movements slightly slow from fatigue. When he reached Harry, the king placed a hand on his son's cheek, something he hadn't done in decades. You came, Charles whispered. Harry's eyes glistened. Of course, I came. Charles pulled him into a gentle, emotional hug, a hug Harry didn't know he needed. Meghan watched silently, her own eyes moist. The king then leaned down toward Archie. You must be the brave little boy who likes airplanes. Archie grinned shyly. Yes, and you, Charles said as he carefully lifted Lilibet into his arms. You look just like your grandmother. Harry felt his heart tighten. Charles kissed Lilibet's forehead. The child giggled, and something inside the king broke. In the best way, for the first time in years, the royal family felt like a family again. Later, they gathered in a private sitting room. Warm tea, soft cakes, and comforting silence filled the space. Why did you write that message? Harry finally asked. Charles hesitated. Then he spoke quietly. Because a father should never leave this world without making peace with his children. Harry froze. Meghan looked at Charles with concern. Are you sick? Harry asked firmly. Charles took a slow breath. No, not dying. But the doctors say I must rest. And I realized, rest means nothing if there is unrest in my own home. Harry looked down. Charles continued. I have made mistakes, many, but losing you, losing my grandchildren, that is not a pain I can carry anymore. Tears filled Harry's eyes. I never wanted to hurt you. I just wanted to protect my family. And I wanted to protect mine. Charles replied softly. But in the end, we both lost. Silence. Heavy, but healing. Meghan's voice broke it. Maybe now, we can all start again. Charles nodded. Yes, let us start again. About childhood. About Diana. About misunderstandings. About forgiveness. A new foundation was being built. Slow, but strong. Charles walked with Archie and Harry in the palace gardens. The winter sun was gentle, spreading silver light across the grass. Dad, Harry began carefully. Can I ask something? Of course. Are you afraid? Charles stopped walking. He looked at his son, and for a moment, not as a king, but as a father. Yes, Harry, I am afraid. Afraid of losing time. Afraid of regrets I cannot undo. Harry nodded. Me too. Charles placed a hand on Harry's shoulder. Then let us not waste any more time. Harry watched him and whispered. This is what I always wanted. Just peace, Charles replied. Then let us keep it. The rain had been falling over London since morning. But that evening, something felt different. A particular kind of silence surrounded Buckingham Palace. Not the usual royal calm, but the uneasy quietness that appears before a major storm, the kind that changes history. Inside the palace, the lights in the East Wing flickered back to life after weeks of remaining dim. Staff members exchanged confused glances. Everyone knew the same rumor, that King Charles had approved a private visitation from someone long unwelcomed, someone whose shadow had stretched across the monarchy for years. Prince Harry. For the first time in nearly half a decade, the youngest son of the king was coming back. No cameras, no press, no official protocols, just a private meeting and possibly something far more significant. Harry's car approached slowly, escorted by minimal security. The guards had strict instructions. No pictures, no statements, no formal greetings. Let him walk in like any other guest. But despite all precautions, 2 junior security officers felt their throats tightened when they saw him step out. He looked tired, older, but dignified. His beard had grown slightly, and his eyes, once fiery with rebellion, now held a quiet heaviness, as if he carried the weight of 2 worlds on his shoulders. The palace hadn't seen him like this before. Harry paused at the gate, staring at the familiar structure towering over him. Memories hit him like a storm running in the corridors with William, practicing speeches, Diana hugging him before school, and later, the arguments, the tears, and the painful goodbyes. He exhaled deeply as the emotional conversation continued inside. The storm outside intensified. What nobody knew was that 2 journalists had spotted the unusual palace activity. They suspected something major, something newsworthy, and they were about to break the biggest royal story in years. Inside the palace, however, Harry had no idea the world was already waking up to his visit. Pa, Harry said, softly, I want us to try again, but we need time. Privacy. Space. Charles nodded. We will do it quietly. No, Press. Harry looked relieved. Thank you.